The armor rejected every alien, until one human stepped in. And the galaxy panicked. Part 1. The space station floated alone between the stars. It was called the Archive Station, and it was huge. Inside its white walls, thousands of scientists from different alien worlds studied old things. These were objects from civilizations that died long ago. Some of these objects were simple tools. Others were dangerous weapons. But nothing was as strange or as deadly as the armor locked in Vault 7. Tai Yang was a human scientist who worked at the Archive Station. He had been there for 3 years. Only 12 humans worked at the station. Everyone else was an alien. There were 4,000 researchers in total. Tai Yang studied ancient objects for a living. He loved his job. But there was one object he was never allowed to touch. It was the armor in Vault 7. The Galactic Council said it was too dangerous. Only the most experienced scientists could study it. Everything changed when the armor killed someone again. This was the 5th death in 2 months. The victim was Commander Velthos. He was from a race called the Crithians. He had lived for hundreds of years and was very experienced. He thought he could handle the armor safely. He used energy shields to protect himself. He used special devices to block dangerous signals. He took every safety measure possible. But when he touched the armor, something terrible happened. The armor sent out a wave of energy. This energy destroyed his internal organs. He died screaming. No one could understand his screams. Even the translation machines could not make sense of them. After this death, an emergency meeting was called. All the scientists on the station had to attend. Director Kalrin stood at the front of the large meeting room. He was an insect-like alien with long antennae. His antennae were shaking. He was clearly scared. "This is very bad," Director Kalrin said. His voice was loud and worried. 5 deaths in 2 months. The armor is getting more dangerous. We cannot control it. The Council has decided something. If we cannot make it safe, they will destroy it. Tai Yang sat in the back of the room. His heart felt heavy. The armor was special. Scientists believed it came from the precursors. The precursors were an ancient race. They lived millions of years ago. They created amazing technology and spread it across the galaxy. Then they disappeared. No one knew what happened to them. Destroying their armor would be a huge loss for science. A woman's voice spoke up from the crowd. "Maybe we are doing this wrong." Everyone turned to look. It was Hannah. She was another human scientist at the station. She studied languages and how different species communicate. She was smart and brave. Every species that tried to touch the armor used technology, Hannah said. They wore special suits. They used machines to help them. What if that is the problem? What if the armor does not like technology? What if it wants something different? A snake-like alien scientist hissed at her. "That is stupid. The precursors were the most advanced species ever. Why would they make technology that hates technology?" Hannah stayed calm. Maybe they had a reason. Maybe they wanted only certain beings to use it. Humans have old stories about weapons that choose their owners. Weapons that test if someone is worthy. What if this armor is like that? Director Kalrin stared at Hannah with his many eyes. "Are you saying you want to try touching it?" "No," Hannah said. "But I think we should let someone try who has no technology in their body. Someone who is completely natural, completely biological." The room exploded with noise. Everyone started arguing. Most alien species in the Galactic Union had changed their bodies long ago. They had computers in their brains. They had metal parts replacing their organs. They had enhanced their bodies with technology for centuries. Only humans and a few other primitive species were still completely natural. They had no technology inside them. Tai Yang felt something inside him. It was like a voice telling him what to do. Before he could think about it, he stood up. "I will do it," he said. The entire room went silent. Every alien turned to stare at him. Some had eyes, some had camera-like sensors, some had other ways of seeing. But all of them focused on Tai Yang. Director Kalrin spoke slowly. "Dr. Tai Yang, do you understand how dangerous this is? You saw what happened to Commander Velthos. The armor killed him in seconds." Tai Yang nodded. His hands were shaking a little, but his voice was steady. "I understand. But Hannah is right. We need to try something different. If it kills me, at least we will learn something. At least we will know if the natural approach works or not." The director looked at him for a long time. Then he looked at the other senior scientists. They whispered to each other in different alien languages. Finally, Director Kalrin spoke again. "Very well. We will prepare for the attempt tomorrow. Dr. Taeyang, you will spend tonight in the medical bay. We need to scan your body and make sure you are completely healthy. If you survive, we need a baseline to compare to. If you do not survive," and he paused. "If you do not survive, we will honor your sacrifice." That night, Taeyang could not sleep. He lay in the medical bay while machines scanned his body. The machines were not inside him. They just looked at him from outside. He thought about the armor. He thought about the precursors. Who were they? Why did they make such a dangerous object? What were they protecting it from? Hana came to visit him late at night. She sat down next to his bed. Her face looked worried. "You do not have to do this," she said quietly. "I suggested the idea, but I did not mean for you to volunteer. Someone else could try." Taeyang smiled at her. "Who? I am one of 12 humans here. If we are right, it has to be someone natural, someone without technology in their body. That limits the choices. Besides, I want to do this. I have spent my whole life studying ancient civilizations. The precursors are the greatest mystery in the galaxy. If I can help solve that mystery, even if it costs me my life, it will be worth it." Hana shook her head. "You are brave. Or maybe just crazy. Maybe both," Taeyang said with a small laugh. They talked for a while longer. Then Hana left. Taeyang was alone with his thoughts again. He finally fell asleep just before dawn. He dreamed of ancient beings and lost civilizations. He dreamed of armor that glowed with strange light. In his dream, the armor spoke to him, but he could not understand what it was saying. Part 2. The bonding Vault 7 was empty except for Taeyang, the armor, and a dozen remote monitoring drones. The council had refused to risk any observers in the chamber itself. If something went wrong, blast doors would seal him inside until the automated systems could neutralize the threat, or what remained of him. The armor stood on a pedestal in the center of the vault, illuminated by cold white light. It was humanoid in shape, which had always puzzled researchers since the precursor's physical form remained unknown. The metal, if it was metal, seemed to shift colors as Taeyang approached, flowing from deep obsidian to electric blue to something that hurt to look at directly. "Vital signs stable," came Hana's voice through the communication system. She was monitoring from the safety of the control room. "Take your time, Taeyang. No need to rush." He took a breath and stepped closer. The armor seemed to pulse as if aware of his presence. Ancient symbols flickered across its surface, writing in a language that predated every known civilization. Taeyang extended his hand, bare of any technology. No gloves, no sensors, no protective equipment, just flesh and bone. "Here goes everything," he whispered. His fingertips touched the armor's chest plate. The universe exploded. Taeyang's consciousness was ripped from his body and hurled across dimensions. He had no words to describe. He saw the birth of stars and the death of galaxies. He felt the thoughts of being so vast they used solar systems as neural pathways. He heard the screams of civilizations consumed by cosmic horror, and the songs of entities that had transcended physical reality entirely. And through it all, he felt the armor's presence. Not hostile, but searching, probing his mind with an intensity that should have shattered his sanity. "Who are you?" The question wasn't in words, but in pure meaning that bypassed language entirely. "I'm Taeyang," he tried to answer. "I'm human. I'm human." The concept seemed to ripple through the armor's consciousness. Unchanged, unmodified, original. Images flooded Taeyang's mind. He saw the precursors now, beings of flesh and bone like humans, but ancient beyond comprehension. He understood with sudden clarity why the armor had killed every other examiner. The Galactic Union species had evolved past pure biology. They'd merged with their technology, becoming hybrids of flesh and machine. But the precursors had fought something that consumed technological civilizations, something that turned their own tools against them. So they'd created weapons that would only bond with purely biological beings, entities that couldn't be corrupted or subverted by the enemy they'd feared. "You are compatible," the armor declared. "You may wear me. Wait," Taeyang gasped. "I don't understand. Too late." The armor flowed like liquid, wrapping around his body in seconds. He felt it interface with his nervous system, his muscles, even his thoughts. Power surged through him. Power that could crack planets, that could manipulate gravity and time, that could reshape reality with focused will. The blast doors of Vault 7 exploded outward. torn from their reinforced moorings by a casual gesture from Tae Yang's armored hand. He stepped into the corridor. The next morning came too quickly. Tae Yang woke up feeling nervous. His stomach felt tight. His hands were cold, but he got out of bed and got ready. Today he would either make history or die trying. The walk to Vault 7 felt very long. Director Calrin walked beside him. Hana was there too. She insisted on coming even though it was dangerous. They walked through the quiet hallways of the station. Other scientists watched them pass. No one spoke. Everyone knew what was about to happen. When they reached Vault 7, the director stopped. "This is as far as we go," he said. "You will go in alone. We cannot risk anyone else. If something goes wrong, the vault will seal automatically. Emergency systems will activate. They will try to save you, but—" He did not finish the sentence. He did not need to. Tae Yang nodded. He understood. If the armor killed him like it killed the others, no one could help him. The vault would lock down. They would wait until the danger passed. Then they would collect his body. "Good luck," Hana said softly. Her eyes looked wet. She was trying not to cry. "Thank you," Tae Yang said. He gave her a small smile. Then he turned and walked toward the vault door. The door opened slowly. It was made of thick metal and energy fields. It was designed to contain the most dangerous objects in the galaxy. Tae Yang stepped through. Behind him, the door closed with a heavy sound. He was alone now. The vault was a large round room. The walls were white. Bright lights came from everywhere. In the center of the room, on a raised platform, stood the armor. Tae Yang had seen pictures of it before. But seeing it in person was different. It was beautiful and terrifying at the same time. The armor looked like it was made for a human body. It had arms, legs, a chest piece, and a helmet. But the material was strange. It was not metal. It was not plastic. It was something else. Something that seemed to change color as he looked at it. Sometimes it was black like space. Sometimes it was blue like electricity. Sometimes it was a color that hurt his eyes to see. Strange symbols covered the armor's surface. They moved and shifted. They were writing, but in a language older than any known civilization. Tae Yang had studied ancient languages his whole career. He could not read a single symbol. He took a step forward. Then another. The armor seemed to pulse with light. Was it aware of him? Could it sense his presence? From outside the vault, Hana's voice came through speakers in the wall. "Your vital signs are stable. Heart rate is elevated, but that is normal. Take your time. There is no rush." Tae Yang appreciated her calm voice. It helped him feel less alone. He kept walking until he stood right in front of the armor. It was taller than him by a few inches. Up close, he could feel something from it. Not heat, not cold. Something else. Energy maybe, or power. Or perhaps it was just his imagination. He raised his right hand. His hand was shaking. He took a deep breath and tried to steady himself. This was it, the moment of truth. He would either touch the armor and die instantly like the others, or something different would happen. "Here I go," he whispered. His fingers touched the chest plate of the armor. Everything exploded. Tae Yang's mind was ripped away from his body. He was flying through space. No, not flying, falling, or maybe rising. He could not tell. He saw stars being born. He saw galaxies spinning. He saw black holes eating entire solar systems. He saw things that had no names. Things that should not exist. Things that made his brain hurt to think about. And he felt the armor. It was alive. Not alive like a person or an animal, but alive in a different way. It had consciousness. It had thoughts. It had purpose, a voice spoke in his mind. It was not words. It was pure meaning that went straight into his understanding. "Who are you?" Tae Yang tried to answer. He did not know if he was speaking out loud or just thinking. "My name is Tae Yang. I am human. I am from a planet called Earth. Human." The concept seemed to ripple through the armor's mind. It was testing the word, examining it. Unchanged, unmodified, pure original. Suddenly, Tae Yang saw images. They filled his vision completely. He saw the precursors now. They were not so different from humans. They had 2 arms, 2 legs, a head. They were made of flesh and bone. But they were ancient. So ancient that human civilization was like a newborn baby compared to them. He understood something now. Something important. The armor had killed all the other scientists because they had technology inside their bodies. The aliens who studied it had computers in their brains. They had metal replacing their organs. They had changed themselves with technology over thousands of years, but the precursors had fought something. Something terrible. An enemy that could take over technology. An enemy that could turn machines against their owners. So the precursors made weapons that only worked with natural beings. Beings with no technology to corrupt. Beings like humans. "You are compatible," the armor declared. The voice was louder now. More certain. "You may wear me." "Wait," Taeyang tried to say. "I do not understand everything yet. I need more time to—" It was too late. The armor moved. It flowed like water off the platform. It wrapped around his body in seconds. He felt it touch his skin. It was cool at first, then warm. Then it felt like part of him. Like it had always been there. Power rushed through him. Incredible power. He could feel the armor connecting to his nerves. To his muscles. To his brain. It was reading his thoughts. Learning who he was. And at the same time it was showing him things. Showing him what it could do. He could break planets with this armor. He could bend gravity. He could manipulate time. He could reshape reality itself if he focused hard enough. "This is too much," Taeyang gasped. "This is too much power for one person." But the armor did not respond. It was done talking. It had chosen him. Now it was part of him. Outside the vault, alarms started screaming. Red lights flashed everywhere. Director Calrin's voice came through the speakers, filled with panic. "Something is happening. The vault's energy readings are off the scale. Taeyang, can you hear me? Taeyang." Taeyang looked at his hands. They were covered in the armor now. Energy danced between his fingers. Blue light, white light, colors he had no names for. He felt amazing and terrified at the same time. "I can hear you," he said. His voice sounded different, deeper, more powerful. "I am okay. The armor, it chose me. It bonded with me." "Can you remove it?" Hana asked. Her voice was tight with worry. Taeyang tried. He pulled at the armor with his hands. He told it mentally to let go. Nothing worked. The armor was not coming off. "No," he said quietly. "I cannot remove it. It is stuck. We are connected now." He walked toward the vault door. With each step, his feet left glowing marks on the floor. The metal under him was melting slightly from the energy the armor gave off. "Open the door," he said. "I am coming out. Wait," Director Calrin shouted. "We need to run safety checks first. We need to make sure you are not dangerous." Taeyang did not wait. He raised one hand toward the door. The armor responded to his thought. Energy shot from his palm. The vault door, which was designed to withstand nuclear explosions, tore apart like paper. Pieces of metal flew across the hallway outside. He stepped through the destroyed doorway. Scientists were running everywhere. Alarms were still screaming. Security guards were arriving with weapons. They pointed their guns at him. "Do not shoot," Hana yelled. She ran between Taeyang and the guards. "It is still him. He is still Taeyang." "Stand aside, Dr. Hana," one of the guards said. He was a large reptilian alien with scales and sharp teeth. "That thing is a threat to the station." "I am not a thing," Taeyang said calmly. "I am still me. I am still Dr. Taeyang. The armor chose me because I am human. Because I am natural. Because I have no technology in my body for it to reject." Director Calrin pushed through the crowd. He looked at Taeyang with his many eyes. Fear and wonder mixed on his insect-like face. "What have you done?" he whispered. "I do not know yet," Taeyang admitted. "But I can feel the armor's knowledge. I can see things, understand things. The precursors left this behind for a reason. There is something coming, something terrible, and we are going to need weapons like this to fight it." Before anyone could respond, more alarms went off. These were different. These were the emergency communication alarms. Something was happening at the galactic level. Something big. A message appeared on every screen in the station. It was from the Galactic Council. Taeyang read it and felt his blood turn cold. The council knew about the armor. They knew a human had bonded with it. And they were coming to take it away. By force if necessary. Captain Jiwoo was sleeping when the emergency call came. She woke up fast, her soldier instincts kicking in. She commanded a human diplomatic ship called the Perseverance. The ship was currently docked at the Galactic Council's central station. This was the biggest and most important station in the entire galaxy. All the major decisions about galactic law happened here. Jiwoo got dressed quickly and ran to the emergency meeting room. She was surprised to be called. Humans were a junior species in the Galactic Union. They did not usually attend important meetings. They were more like children who had to follow rules made by adult species. This emergency summons was unusual. When she entered the meeting room, she understood why. The room was full of angry aliens. They were all talking at once. The air felt thick with tension and fear. Ambassador Threnkal banged his appendage on the table for silence. He was a reptilian alien with green scales and cold eyes. He looked at Jiwoo with barely hidden contempt. "Captain Jiwoo," he said. His voice was sharp. "Thank you for joining us. We have a serious problem. One of your humans has done something very dangerous." Jiwoo kept her face calm. Inside, her heart was racing. "What happened?" Another alien spoke up. This was Counselor Marveth. She had multiple arms and spoke with a voice that sounded like grinding stones. "One of your researchers bonded with precursor armor, the most dangerous artifact in galactic history. This is unacceptable." Jiwoo felt shock run through her body. Precursor armor? She knew about the precursors. Everyone did. They were the ancient species that created technology millions of years ago. Their weapons could destroy entire planets. "I was not informed of this," Jiwoo said carefully. "Can you tell me what happened exactly?" Threnkal pulled up a video on the wall screen. It showed Taeyang touching the armor. It showed the armor bonding with him. It showed him destroying the vault door with just a gesture. Jiwoo watched in amazement and horror. "Dr. Taeyang," Threnkal said, "has become the first being in millions of years to successfully bond with precursor technology. Your human now possesses power that could threaten entire civilizations. We cannot allow this." "What do you mean you cannot allow this?" Jiwoo asked. She did not like where this was going. Marveth leaned forward, her many eyes fixed on Jiwoo. "We want the armor. It must be transferred to a secure facility under council control. Your researcher will be compensated for his cooperation." Jiwoo understood what they were really saying. They wanted to take Taeyang prisoner, maybe dissect him, study him like a laboratory animal. Her hands formed fists under the table. "According to the reports," Jiwoo said slowly, "Dr. Taeyang cannot remove the armor. It is bonded with him at a neural level. You cannot separate them without killing him. Then we will take both the armor and the human together," Marveth said coldly. "One way or another, your species will not be permitted to possess a weapon of that magnitude." The words hit Jiwoo like a physical blow. They were threatening to kill one of her people, a civilian scientist who was just doing his job. "Dr. Taeyang is a citizen of Earth," Jiwoo said. Her voice was getting harder now. "He is under our protection. You cannot just take him." Threnkal laughed. It was not a kind sound. "Your species is not our ally, Captain. You are a protectorate, a client state. You exist in the Union because we permit it. Do not mistake our tolerance for equality. You have no rights here except the ones we give you." Jiwoo felt anger burn in her chest. She had always known humans were second-class citizens in the galaxy. But hearing it said so directly was painful. It made her feel small and helpless. "I need to contact Earth's government," she said. "This is not a decision I can make alone." "You have 6 hours," Marveth replied. "After that, we will send a battle fleet to the archive station. We will consider your researchers' continued possession of the armor an act of aggression. Choose wisely, Captain." The meeting ended. Jiwoo walked back to her ship in a daze. 6 hours. They had 6 hours to decide if they would hand over Taeyang to die, or start a war with the entire Galactic Union. Back at the archive station, things were getting worse. Taeyang had moved to an isolated cargo bay, but even there his presence was causing problems. The armor gave off energy passively. This energy interfered with the station's technology. Life support systems were failing. Computers were crashing. 3 entire decks had to be evacuated. Taeyang sat in the middle of the empty cargo bay. He felt terrible. He was not trying to hurt anyone. He was not doing anything. But just by existing, he was endangering everyone on the station. Hana refused to leave him. She sat nearby, watching him with concern. "How are you feeling?" "Strange," Taeyang admitted. "The armor is showing me things constantly. Memories that are not mine. Knowledge from millions of years ago. I can see the history of the precursors now. I know what they were running from. What were they running from? Something they called the void. A force that consumes everything. Matter, energy, even space itself. The precursors fought it for thousands of years. They barely managed to contain it. They created weapons like this armor to fight back. Weapons that could not be corrupted because they only bonded with natural biological beings. Hana looked worried. Is this void still out there? Yes, the armor's sensors can detect it. It has been sleeping for millions of years, but it is waking up. We probably have 50 years before it breaks free. Maybe less. Before Hana could respond, Director Colleran's voice came over the communication system. Attention all personnel. A Galactic Union battle fleet has just arrived. They are demanding we surrender Dr. Tae Yang immediately. All staff must evacuate to safe zones. This is not a drill. Tae Yang and Hana looked at each other. Fear passed between them. They are going to kill you, Hana said quietly. I know. What will you do? Tae Yang stood up. The armor glowed brighter. He could feel its power ready to respond to his will. He could fight. The armor gave him that ability. He could probably destroy the entire fleet if he wanted to, but that would make him a killer. It would make humans look like a threat. It would start a war. I will not let innocent people die because of me, he said. I will surrender. And let them dissect you? Hana grabbed his arm. The armor was warm under her hand. That armor chose you for a reason. Maybe you should find out why before you give up. Deep in Tae Yang's mind, the armor stirred. Its ancient consciousness touched his thoughts. They fear what they cannot control, the armor whispered to him, as they should. Outside the station, 30 warships formed a circle. Each ship was massive. Each one carried weapons that could destroy planets. The fleet commander opened a communication channel to the station. This is Admiral Kreshenak of the Galactic Union. We are here for the human called Tae Yang. Send him out immediately or we will board the station by force. Tae Yang looked at Hana. Then he looked at the walls of the cargo bay. Beyond those walls, he could sense the fleet. The armor let him feel their weapons charging. They were preparing to attack. I am going out there, he said. Wait, Hana said. Just wait. Captain Jiwoo is coming. She is bringing a human ship. Maybe there is another way. There is no other way, Tae Yang said sadly. The council has decided. Humans are not equals here. We are property. And property does what it is told. He started walking toward the airlock. The armor would protect him in space. He did not need a ship or a suit. He could just walk out into the vacuum and confront the fleet directly. But as he reached the airlock, something happened. A new ship appeared. It dropped out of hyperspace right between the station and the fleet. It was smaller than the warships, but it was clearly human in design. The name on its hull read Defiance. Captain Jiwoo's voice came over the emergency channel. Tae Yang, do not surrender. Earth's government has refused the Council's demands. We are here to extract you. You cannot fight an entire fleet, Tae Yang said. We are not going to fight, Jiwoo replied. We are going to talk. And if talking does not work, then we will show the galaxy something. We will show them that humans do not abandon their own, no matter what the cost. Admiral Kreshenak's voice cut into the channel. Human vessel, stand down. This does not concern you. Interfere and you will be destroyed along with the station. Try it, Jiwoo said calmly. But know this. The human government is watching. The entire galaxy is watching. If you attack a civilian research station and a diplomatic vessel, the whole universe will know that the Galactic Council murders innocent people for having abilities you fear. There was silence. Tae Yang could feel the tension. The fleet was still charging weapons, but they hesitated. Political concerns were holding them back. Then something else happened. Something no one expected. A massive energy signature appeared at the edge of the system. Space twisted and something enormous emerged from hyperspace. It was bigger than a moon. Its hull was made of material that looked alive, technology that made precursor artifacts look primitive. The armor screamed a warning in Tae Yang's mind. Scout probe. The void awakens. The probe released a wave of dark energy. It hit the nearest Union warship. The ship began to dissolve. Its hull broke apart at the molecular level. The probe was eating it, converting its matter into more of itself. Chaos erupted across the Union fleet. The probe was destroying the warship with terrifying ease. Officers were screaming orders. Ships were breaking formation. No one knew what to do. They had never seen anything like this before, but Tae Yang had. Through the armor's memories, he understood exactly what they were facing. This was a void probe. A scout sent ahead to test defenses, to find weaknesses, and if left unchecked, it would consume everything in the system. All ships retreat. Taeyang shouted over the open channel. That thing will eat anything technological. You have to run now. Admiral Kreshnak was a warrior. He had fought in hundreds of battles. But even he could hear the fear in Taeyang's voice. And fear from someone wearing precursor armor meant something. What is that thing? The Admiral demanded. A void probe, Taeyang replied. He was already moving toward the airlock. The enemy the precursors fought. The reason they made weapons like this armor. Admiral, you need to jump to hyperspace immediately. Take your fleet and go. I will handle this. You? Kreshnak sounded incredulous. One human against that? One human wearing the only weapon designed to fight it. Taeyang corrected. The probe had finished consuming the first warship. Now it was moving toward the next one. Its dark energy wave was expanding. Soon it would reach the archive station. All those scientists, all those innocent people. Taeyang did not wait any longer. He opened the airlock and stepped into space. The vacuum did not hurt him. The armor created a field around his body. He could breathe. He could move. He could survive. But more than that, he could fight. Jiwoo, he said, speaking to the captain of the Defiance. Get your ship out of here. Take the station's evacuation pods. Get everyone to safety. I am not leaving you, Jiwoo replied. Her voice was firm. Captain, that is an order. Taeyang was flying now. The armor propelled him through space toward the probe. Your ship cannot help me. It will just get consumed, please. Save the others. He closed the channel before she could argue. He needed to focus. The probe was enormous. Looking at it made his brain hurt. It was wrong somehow. It did not follow the normal rules of physics. Space bent around it in impossible ways. The armor fed information into Taeyang's mind. Weak points, attack patterns, strategies the precursors had used millions of years ago. He absorbed it all in seconds, then he attacked. Energy erupted from his hands. Beams of pure power that could vaporize mountains. The probe absorbed them without effect. It was designed to consume energy. That approach would not work. Taeyang changed tactics. The armor gave him control over gravity. He focused his will and bent space around the probe, crushing it, trying to collapse it into a black hole. The probe resisted. It pushed back with its own reality-warping abilities. The two forces clashed. Space itself seemed to scream from the strain. Behind Taeyang, the Union fleet was finally moving. Ships were jumping to hyperspace one by one. The archive station was launching evacuation pods. Good. At least they were getting to safety. But not all of them. The Defiance was still there. Jiwoo refused to leave. Captain, what are you doing? Taeyang shouted. Covering you, she replied. The Defiance was moving into position. Its weapons were charging. We are humanity. We do not leave our people behind. Before Taeyang could argue, the Defiance opened fire. Its missiles struck the probe. They did nothing to damage it, but they distracted it. Made it split its attention between Taeyang and the ship. That was enough. Taeyang pushed harder. The armor responded to his determination. More power, more energy. He was pulling from reserves he did not know existed. The strain was incredible. His body felt like it was burning from the inside, but it was working. The probe was weakening. Its dark energy was flickering. Then the probe did something unexpected. It launched a counterattack. Not at Taeyang. At the Defiance, no. Taeyang screamed. He moved faster than thought. The armor made him into a blur of motion. He put himself between the probe and the ship. The dark energy hit him full force. Pain exploded through every nerve in his body. The probe's attack was trying to unmake him, to break down his atoms, to erase him from existence. But the armor held. It was designed for this, built to withstand attacks that could shatter reality. The precursors had made it strong enough to fight the void. And Taeyang was wearing it. He grabbed the dark energy with his armored hands. Actually grabbed it, held it. The armor let him touch things that should be untouchable. He squeezed, twisted, redirected the attack back at the probe. The probe tried to absorb its own energy. But Taeyang had changed it somehow, poisoned it. The probe began to destabilize. Its surface rippled. Cracks appeared in its impossible hull. Now, Taeyang roared. He gathered every bit of power the armor could generate. His body became a star. Light erupted from him. Pure creation energy, the opposite of the void's consuming darkness. The probe exploded silently in the vacuum. Fragments scattered in all directions. But they were inert now, dead, no longer a threat. Taeyang floated in space, exhausted beyond measure. Every muscle hurt. His mind was foggy. He could barely think. The armor had pushed him to his absolute limit. Taeyang? Jiwoo's voice came through the communication channel. Taeyang, are you alive? Yes, he whispered, barely. But yes. I am bringing the ship around to pick you up. The Defiance moved close. Its cargo bay opened. Taeyang floated inside and collapsed on the floor. The armor finally dimmed. Its glow faded to almost nothing. It had used most of its power in the fight. Jiwoo came running into the cargo bay. She knelt beside him. That was the bravest and stupidest thing I have ever seen. Stupid? Taeyang tried to smile, but his face muscles would not cooperate. You almost got yourself killed. For us. For all of us. That is what the armor is for, Taeyang said. His voice was fading. Consciousness was slipping away. To protect. To fight things like that. The precursors knew. They knew the void would return. So they made weapons. Left them scattered across the galaxy. Waiting for people who could use them. People like... He passed out before he could finish the sentence. When Taeyang woke up, he was in the medical bay of the Defiance. Hana was sitting beside his bed. She looked tired but relieved. How long was I out? He asked. 2 days, Hana replied. Your body needed to recover. The armor used you up completely. The doctors say you should not do that again, ever. Did everyone get away safely? Yes, the archive station evacuated. The Union fleet retreated. And most importantly, the Council is reconsidering their position. Taeyang sat up slowly. His body ached, but it was a manageable pain. What do you mean? The probe changed everything, Hana explained. The entire galaxy saw what happened. They saw a void probe appear. They saw it destroy a Union warship in seconds. And they saw you stop it. You, a human wearing precursor armor. The one thing the Council wanted to take from you. The one thing they wanted to destroy. You saved them with it. So they are grateful now. Hana shook her head. Not grateful, scared. They are scared of the void, scared of what is coming. And they realize they need weapons like yours to fight it. They have called an emergency session of the Galactic Council. They want to talk to you, to negotiate. Taeyang lay back down. His mind was racing. The armor stirred in his consciousness. It was showing him things, possibilities, futures that might happen. There are more weapons, he said quietly. More precursor artifacts scattered across the galaxy. Hundreds of them. And they will only bond with natural biological beings, beings without technology integrated into their bodies. Like humans, Hana said. Like humans. And like about 40 other species the Council considers primitive. Underdeveloped. Second class. Understanding dawned on Hana's face. The galaxy needs those species now. They need what the Council has always dismissed as weakness. Exactly, Taeyang said. Being natural. Being unchanged by technology. It is not a weakness. It is exactly what we need to fight the void. The Council will not like this. No, Taeyang agreed, but they do not have a choice. Either they accept help from species they have always looked down on, or they face extinction when the void fully awakens. Jiwoo entered the medical bay. We are approaching the Council's central station. They are waiting for us. Are you ready? Taeyang stood up. The armor glowed with renewed energy. It had recovered faster than his body. It was ready to fight again if necessary. Yes, he said. I am ready. Let us go change the galaxy. The Council chamber was massive. It could hold representatives from thousands of worlds. Today it was full. Every species in the Galactic Union had sent someone. They all wanted to see the human who had bonded with precursor armor. The human who had fought a void probe and won. Taeyang walked into the chamber with Captain Jiwoo beside him. Hana followed close behind. They also brought Ambassador Min Seo, Earth's chief diplomat. She was an older woman with sharp eyes and a calm demeanor. She had represented humanity in the galaxy for 20 years. The armor had learned to control its energy emissions. It no longer interfered with technology around it, but it still glowed faintly. Still made Taeyang look powerful and dangerous. Every alien in the chamber watched him walk to the center floor. Counselor Marveth spoke first. She did not look happy, but her voice was controlled. Dr. Taeyang, you stand before the Galactic Council. 3 days ago, you bonded with a precursor artifact against regulations. You endangered a research station. You caused a diplomatic incident. And then, she paused, you saved an entire Union fleet from destruction. I did what the armor was made for, Taeyang replied simply. I fought the void. Admiral Kreshnak stood up. The old Krithian warrior looked at Taeyang with new respect. We have analyzed the data from that battle. The probe you destroyed was only a scout, a single small probe. According to our projections, thousands more may be coming, perhaps millions. That is correct, Taeyang said. The armor shows me the void's patterns. It has been sleeping for millions of years. But something has changed. Something is waking it up. When it fully awakens, it will send waves of probes across the galaxy. Each one will consume everything it touches. Ships, stations, planets, entire civilizations. The chamber erupted in noise. Aliens were talking over each other. Some were panicking. Some were demanding proof. Some were refusing to believe it. Ambassador Threnkal called for silence. This is speculation. We have only seen one probe. That does not prove— A new voice cut him off. It came from the chamber's main display screen. It is not speculation, everyone turned. The screen showed another space station. This one was on the far side of the galaxy, and it was being attacked. Multiple probes were appearing around it. The station's defenses were useless. The probes simply absorbed every weapon fired at them. This transmission is being received from the outer rim, an operator announced. 7 more probe sightings have been confirmed in the last hour. The attacks are spreading. The chamber went silent. The reality was hitting them now. The threat was real. The void was awakening. And they were not prepared. Counselor Marveth looked at Taeyang. Her multiple eyes showed something that might have been fear. What do we do? We find the other weapons, Taeyang said. The precursors left approximately 200 artifacts scattered across known space. They are hidden, protected, waiting for the right people to find them. We need to activate as many as possible before the void's full forces arrive. But these weapons only bond with natural biological entities, Ambassador Threnkal said slowly. Most species in the Union have integrated technology into their bodies for centuries. We cannot use precursor weapons. That is correct, Ambassador Mincio said. She stepped forward, her voice clear and strong. You cannot use them. But we can. Humans can. And so can about 47 other species that you have classified as underdeveloped. The implications hung in the air like a physical weight. You are saying, Marveth said carefully, that the galaxy's survival depends on species we have kept as client states? Species we considered primitive? We prefer the term strategically unmodified, Taeyang said with a slight smile. And yes, that is exactly what we are saying. Being natural is not a weakness anymore. It is exactly what we need. More arguments broke out. Some counselors refused to accept it. Some were angry. Some were frightened. But slowly, gradually, they came to the same conclusion. They had no choice. Admiral Kreshnak stood again. I propose a new treaty. All species capable of bonding with precursor weapons will be granted full membership status in the Union. Equal voting rights, equal resource allocation, equal treatment. In exchange, they will help us form a defense force against the void. And we make all decisions together. Ambassador Mincio added firmly, the people who wear these weapons are not soldiers to be commanded. They are partners, equals. We fight this threat together or we do not fight at all. The debate lasted for hours, but eventually, worn down by fear and necessity, the council agreed. A new treaty was drafted and signed. Humanity and 46 other species were officially granted equal status in the Galactic Union. It was the biggest political change in 10,000 years. 6 months passed. Taeyang stood on a training platform that orbited a dead world. Around him, volunteers from across the galaxy were learning to bond with precursor weapons. Not all of them succeeded. The artifacts were very selective. They looked for specific qualities that no one fully understood. But enough succeeded to give them hope. Hyunwoo was a human pilot who had bonded with a precursor ship. The ship could move through solid objects. It could phase in and out of normal space. Hyunwoo was young and excited. He loved his new abilities. Dalnim was a human woman who wore armor like Taeyang's, but hers was different. It controlled gravity. She could make things heavy or light. She could create black holes with her hands. She was quiet and serious. She understood the responsibility she carried. There were others too, aliens from the Velkari species, from the Katesh, from the Rin, dozens of species that had been considered backward. Now they were the galaxy's best hope. Do you think we can win? Hana asked. She had become Taeyang's assistant. She helped him understand the armor's vast knowledge. She translated its ancient information into terms others could understand. I do not know, Taeyang admitted. They were watching the trainees practice, watching them learn to use power that could reshape reality. The precursors fought the void for thousands of years. They barely managed to contain it. We have less time and fewer resources. But we have something they did not, Hana said. What is that? She gestured to the training platform. Humans working with Velkari. Katesh training beside Rin. Species that had never cooperated before now working together. Learning together. Fighting together, unity, Hana said. The precursors were alone, isolated by their power and their fear. They thought they could solve everything themselves. We know we cannot. We need each other. All of us, Taeyang smiled. The armor hummed in agreement. Deep in its ancient consciousness, he felt something like hope. The armor had seen civilizations rise and fall. It had watched empires crumble and species go extinct. But this was something new, something it had never witnessed before. Different species, different cultures, different abilities. All coming together not because they wanted to, but because they had to, because the alternative was extinction. The armor is showing me futures, Taeyang said quietly. Possible timelines. Ways this might end. Some are terrible. Most are terrible. But there are a few where we win, where we push the void back, where we survive. What makes the difference? Hana asked. In the timelines where we win, what do we do differently? We trust each other, Taeyang replied. We stop seeing each other as primitive or advanced, as strong or weak. We just see each other as people, as allies, as partners fighting the same fight. A message came through on Taeyang's communication device. It was from Captain Jiwoo. She was leading a mission to find more precursor weapons in an unexplored sector. Taeyang, we found something. Her voice crackled with excitement. A whole cache of artifacts. Maybe 20 or 30 weapons. And they are responding to our people. We have volunteers ready to bond with them. That is excellent news, Taeyang said. How long until they are ready for deployment? A few weeks, maybe. We are being careful, learning from your experience, making sure the bonding process is safe. Good, we will need everyone we can get. The armor's sensors show increased void activity near the galactic core. The probes are getting more frequent. We will be ready, Jiwoo promised. Humanity will be ready. She closed the connection. Taeyang looked out at the stars. Somewhere out there, the void was gathering its strength, building its forces, preparing to consume the galaxy like it had tried to do millions of years ago. But this time would be different. This time the galaxy would not fight alone. Humans and aliens, natural beings wearing ancient weapons. A new alliance forged in necessity and sealed in mutual survival. Do you know what I realized? Taeyang said to Hana, what? The precursors did not fail. Everyone thinks they disappeared because they lost against the void. But that is not what happened. They sacrificed themselves to buy time. They sealed the void away knowing it would eventually wake up again. They left weapons behind knowing that someday new species would find them. Species that could work together in ways the precursors never could. So this was their plan all along? Hana asked. Maybe. Or maybe they just hoped. Hoped that when the time came, the younger species would be better than them. Would be smarter. Would remember that survival means cooperation. On the training platform, Dalneem was teaching a Valkyrie soldier how to control gravity. Hyunwoo was showing a Katesh pilot the basics of phase shifting. Everywhere Taeyang looked,